Paradigms, perspective, possibilities, purpose. We all have our paradigms based on our experience of life, both in this life and all lifetimes. We have our perspective based on many, many factors. Our environment, our mindfulness or lack thereof, our consciousness wed to God or something a little less, maybe our prejudices based on how we were raised and how we were taught. The possibilities are always there for us to realize something divine, holy, and great. If something is a possibility, it means that it is possible of achievement, of attainment. So any possibility is, through free will choice, open for fulfillment and realization. There are always many possibilities in front of us for how we move through life, what we choose to do, who we associate with, where we do it. Unfortunately, in this time, on much of the planet, free will is appreciated and allowed, even though there is slavery in certain areas still on this earth. And there's a lot of trouble within certain societies and nations in terms of its leadership suppressing the free movement, free expression of people's desires, voice, etc. Purpose. If we come into this incarnation with a strong inner inkling of what our purpose is, we can affix ourselves upon that star and move steadily toward it in agreement with God's will as a part of it, because I believe that every purpose is partly ensconced within God's will, if it is a true purpose. And having chosen our purpose and working and striving toward it, our paradigms will become more refined, our perspective will be raised, new possibilities will appear before us for self-realization and liberation and enlightenment. And by fulfilling our purpose, anything less than the divine will eventually just evaporate as God becomes crystal clear within our vision, within our desire, and within ourselves. We will feel and see and experience God within. God's virtues, God's light, God's love, God's mercy, all of God's graces. When we are aligned with our purpose, the magic of life manifests through all manner of beautiful experiential miracles. If we're not aligned with our purpose, there's another type of thing that occurs where we're just off kilter and we're kicking at the pricks and we're not really in our joy field of beingness. When we are self-realizing ourselves by moving into that realm of light where our purpose is completed and fulfilled, we are happy. We are happy about everything, about others. We don't complain. We don't criticize. We love everyone. We see everyone in a higher field of joy that actually helps them to fulfill their purpose. If we are fulfilling our purpose, we raise everyone else around us up. If we're not, sometimes we create havoc and we impede others' progress, because the human ego and that tyrant ego dweller can hold sway, and unless we overcome that, it will continue to keep us in the rounds of rebirth where we are sustained in that field rather than a divine field of eternal joy and light and love. Our paradigms can be raised into God's paradigm. Our perspective on life can be raised to God's purview of all sentient beings on all worlds. The possibilities for our self-realization can expand our consciousness and awareness so that we are taking in more light and thereby able to emanate and broadcast more light. If we see ourselves fulfilling a greater purpose throughout our life and increasing in our ability to provide many vehicles for divine expression and co-creativity, then the possibilities really are endless for what we can do to help mankind and serve one another. You know, I think that porpoises are really great at fulfilling their purpose, you know? They just kind of glide through the water with ease and joy and a fun spirit. And we can learn from the nature kingdom because, as a whole, elemental life really is fulfilling its purpose. They are who they are. They are in the joy field of their life, and they are natural expressions of God's impulses within their particular being, outpicturing their essence. We have a little bit more conscious awareness, we pray and we hope, than some of the elementals or the nature spirits, because we have a heightened ability to cognize and express through free will God's light within us, because we're a higher evolutionary form. Yet it doesn't make us necessarily better than them. It's just that we are of a higher order, and so we're expected to do more. We're expected to be much more co-creative and synthesize divine energy within our consciousness through our work, our service, our divine plan, our dharma. Every once in a while, our paradigms may be shattered through an experience or through something that occurs. Every once in a while, our perspective may be utterly discombobulated, and we're in the throes of something so diametrically intense that it causes us to come out of a paradigm and a mold or a rut, because that's the only way that we're going to make greater progress and learn how to fly. And sometimes we are called to do the impossible, the seemingly impossible, within a timetable that seems just insane. And we find that through the maximization of spirit within us that this magic occurs, and somehow through divine intervention we're able to do it. And it seems impossible, and yet we've done it. By God's grace. By God's overshining radiance. Now, divine principles are a part of all of this, because when we fulfill our purpose, we are living a principled life. If we have no true principles and values to follow, we're kind of wishy-washy and we go here and there, and we're not in alignment with that steely, white, blue purpose that our divine presence is partly broadcasting to us, even in the energies that come to us through our crystal cord. The energies that flow to us through our crystal cord as pure light are there to help us to be God aware, to fulfill our purpose, to be who we are meant to be. I had a recent experience with my family that was very trying. And one of my brothers especially was very interesting in telling me he had watched recent videos of the release of Bob and Verla through me. And his paradigm and perspective was a lot different from mine, based on his upbringing, based on his experience with my parents. And of course, he has a different view on all of this, and of course didn't believe that it was real. And I could not convince him at all, and I wasn't there to convince him, just listen. Yet it was very interesting that through all of this, there was a slight little shift in my awareness that gave me a perspective of how my family members, my brothers and sisters, feel about who I am and what I do in our community and the Ascended Masters. And it gives me pause to still love them, hold that immaculate vision for them, while also considering how people view what we do and how we, as a community, as a movement, can actually get our message through to some people in a different way, maybe in a better way than we have to date. Maybe being a little bit more open and looking at ourselves in a new light so that we don't appear to be cultish. We don't seem to be using verbiage and language that the common person just simply cannot understand. This was brought to me by another one of my brothers. It's just like, I don't understand what you're saying. I do not understand the verbiage that you're using. It's totally cultish. Why don't you use verbiage that we can understand? And, you know, he has a point. And there are opportunities for us to be able to communicate with a wider audience that may inspire some people that we would never think would ever respond to what we have to offer. Now, does this mean that we change our core mission and vision and our work? Of course not. I'm sure none of my brothers and sisters have watched an entire morning broadcast from beginning to end and, you know, all 3 hours and actually seen what it is that we do. They may have seen a YouTube here or there or read something here or there. That's not the totality of who we are, what we do, and of our oneness and our beautiful community of light. I told them that, yes, I'm more of an idealist. And my perspective of my parents is from knowing them from a higher, and I don't want to judge them and say they're viewing them from a lower perspective, but I think that I have worked out psychological stuff in myself and in my relationship with my parents that actually allows me to know that they have gone beyond the veil, even with their human imperfections, to ascend, because we don't have to balance 100% of our karma to ascend. Our hearts have to be right with God. We have to balance some things, but not everything. And if we are loving, and if we put God first, and we put others first, that counts for something. And I know my parents were very, very selfless, even with their human imperfections. Now we have a beautiful daughter of God who served in our community with her sister, Estelle Marie Feiner, and we're going to put a picture of her up on the screen that Helen sent me. Here is Estelle Marie. I believe this was probably at her graduation, although I think Maria Menz created the nice sparkly rays coming down around her. That wasn't part of the original picture. Today is the day, 21 days after her decease, that I was told that she would make her ascension. And what I'm seeing from the perspective of heaven is that she is choosing to ascend at noon, Detroit time, which is 10 a.m., our time here in Montana, which is at about 12 minutes. So, Estelle Marie, we see you dressed in white, preparing to stand on the dais, if you're not already there, and getting ready for this great initiation of light. We send you all of our love, all of our appreciation for your beautiful heart, your humility, your laugh, your smile, your constancy of being there week after week on Fridays and other days with your sister on the first of every month. You were and are a trooper, and we appreciate you. And, you know, others may not acclaim that you are this great saint or did a lot in this lifetime. I see you, never having married, always being in a state of purity, as this beautiful child and daughter of God. And we witness to your resurrection and your ascension today. We witness to it. We behold you in your glory. Ken mentioned how he felt it. And I too, during our meditation, especially the last 2 minutes, felt a surge of cosmic energy through my being. And I thought we were going to have a dictation from you right then. It wasn't to be, yet we know that you're going home to the heart of God. So in honor of you, we'd like to sing from Luxor I Take Flight. It's prayer number 40.009, from Luxor I Take Flight, and it's 3 minutes and 36 seconds long. We sing it 3 times through, and we accelerate it. As we know, it starts out very low, so get out your baritone voice, or if you're a woman, your low alto voice. And here we go. From Luxor I Take Flight.
We go within and now begin to meditate again. We see the flame and now proclaim the sacred I am name. I am the light, a torch of light, a pearly fire so bright. I am the light, ascension light, from Luxor I take flight. O white gray Lord, astray a sword of purity we wield. In psalm and poem we sound the young within your fiery home. I am the light, a torch of light, a pearly fire so bright. I am the light, ascension light, from Luxor I take flight. Retreat so fast we see at last, now hold us close and fast. On sacred ground your love resounds, we chant in holy round. I am the light, a torch of light, a pearly fire so bright. I am the light, ascension light, from Luxor I take flight. Serapis Tiro, draw us near, your seraphim are here. From Luxor's height we rise in light, ascension flame so bright. I am the light, a torch of light, a pearly fire so bright. I am the light, ascension light, from Luxor I take flight. We go within and now begin to meditate again. We see the flame and now proclaim the sacred I am name. I am the light, a torch of light, a pearly fire so bright. I am the light, ascension light, from Luxor I take flight. O white ray Lord, astray a sword of purity we wield. In psalm and poem we sound the Om within your fiery home. I am the light, a torch of light, a pearly fire so bright. I am the light, ascension light, from Luxor I take flight. Retreat so vast we see at last, now hold us close and fast. On sacred ground your love resounds, we chant in holy round. I am the light, a torch of light, a pearly fire so bright. I am the light, ascension light, from Luxor I take flight. Serapis, hero, draw us near, your seraphim are here. From Luxor's height we rise in light, ascension flame so bright. I am the light, a torch of light, oh pearly fire so bright. I am the light, ascension light, from Luxor I take flight. We go within and now begin to meditate again. We see the flame and now proclaim the sacred I am name. I am the light, a torch of light, oh pearly fire so bright. I am the light, ascension light, from Luxor I take flight. O white ray Lord, astray a sword of purity we wield. In psalm and poem we sound the Om within your fiery home. I am the light, a torch of light, oh pearly fire so bright. I am the light, ascension light, from Luxor I take flight. Retreat so vast we see at last, now hold us close and fast. On sacred ground where love resounds, we chant in holy round. I am the light, a torch of light, oh pearly fire so bright. I am the light, ascension light, from Luxor I take flight. Serapis, hero, draw us near, your seraphim are here. From Luxor's height we rise in light, ascension flame so bright. I am the light, a torch of light, oh pearly fire so bright. I am the light, ascension light, from Luxor I take flight.
And I'd like us to listen to Liebestrom as recorded by Dean Anderson. Is it about 4 minutes, Boyd?
Probably.
So
Just a second.
we'll end our service by listening to this as we meditate upon our beloved Estelle Marie. We can put her image fully on the screen, and then we will seal the session by extinguishing the candles and maybe meditate for just a few moments in honor of her victory.